we pray that everything that we do would be in accord with your holy will. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. Officially called to order. Roll call. Councilman London and Councilman Box are not present. Councilman Wilson? Present. And Councilwoman Cuellar?
Here.
Myself present. All right. Moving on to the approval of the minutes. For this item, it is listed as basically one line item, but there are two sets of minutes to approve. So I'm going to ask, I was not present on the 20th, so I'm going to ask that one of y'all move forward to approve both sets of minutes.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the regular council meeting minutes on January the 20th.
I'll agree with that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'll abstain from the minutes on the 20th. Going forward with the consent.
I make a motion that we approve the special call council meeting on January the 27th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir. Item number 5, if we could have a motion for the payment of current bills.
I make a motion that we approve bills for payment in the amount of $185,984.37.
May we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? At this time now, it's time for any professional or consultant reports. If we have anyone in the audience that is a professional or a consultant that needs to report. Fair enough. At this time, we find ourselves with the mayor. Mayor, if you could give us your report.
I'll try not to take all night. But since we have a limited amount of individuals here tonight, I guess it will be fine. So I just want to give you an update on what has happened since we had our last council meeting. First of all, I would like to give a thank you or shout out to Principal Taki Sahan here at Shades Valley. When I called him and requested if we could use the facility, he shared with me that we could use it as long as we need to use it during this COVID season. So I would like to thank him for allowing us to be able to use the facility. First thing that I wanted to talk about is the city of Irondale is getting ready to get a new dealership. The name of the dealership is called Echo Park Automotive. It's a part of the Sonic Group. They sell used cars that are 1 to 4 years old, low mileage, no haggling. Reeves Construction, which is an Irondale company, is actually doing the construction or the remodeling on this new building. The vehicles will have under 50,000 miles, and they will have no reports that have been sent to Carfax. I just happened to be reading some stuff through our planning that I received from the engineers, and I said, why do I keep receiving this about parking lot? So I finally did some research on it, and there are only 4 dealerships in America that Sonic is using this brand. They're actually housing this automotive center where they used to have the old Mini Coopers. So Mini Cooper has moved over to BMW, and they're now doing the construction on the Echo Park Automotive used car dealership there, and they have plans to open on March 2021. Secondly, the Five Points Shopping Center, there's been questions about what we're going to do to make sure that we do not end up being the public storage capital of Jefferson County. We currently know that the zoning for this piece of property is C1. Public storage is usually in C2. Therefore, what we're going to do to make sure that we can control the storage facilities coming into the city of Irondale, we're going to create a new zoning classification just for those storage facilities. believe we passed a moratorium at the last special city council meeting to be able to give us the time to be able to deal with that. Also, the city is doing very well financially. I will give a treasury report at the next council meeting that will talk about revenues to expenses, how we've done with the business license and property tax through the month of January. And also I will give you the restricted and unrestricted balances that we have in our accounts. I would say that we have close to $17 million in the bank at the current time in restricted and unrestricted funds. Price Hightower has begun on his new development, which is called the Heights. It will be a 172-unit development, and it's a new concept that is called Built for Rent. So all of the homes in this new community will be for rent. It will be 172. They will all be brand new homes. If you would like to read more about this particular concept, the Birmingham Business Journal did a review with Price about this new type of development that he's doing. Also, the city's getting ready to, this month, to work on redesigning the website. It should start at the end of the month. If you have any suggestions or would like to share any information with us about doing that, we're more than welcome to be able to receive it. I would say if you would send all of your information to Ms. Lee Allison at allison@cityofirondale.gov. She'll be able to capture that information. She's also working on this project to redesign the site. We think that it would take maybe 3 to 4 months to be able to implement that particular site. But we're excited about it. Also, we are in the process of having our first kickoff meeting for Blueprint Irondale, which will be the new comprehensive plan for the city of Irondale. So I'm really looking forward to beginning this process. Initially, they told us that we would start in April, but it's amazing when you go ahead and send your check that you kind of get moved up a little bit earlier to get started with the process. So we are going to have our kickoff meeting at the end of this month with the Regional Planning Commission. So we're really looking forward to that. Also, I talked to Reed Kavanaugh with Stifel, and you remember he came and did a presentation to the council, and he shared with us at that time we had about $350,000 to $400,000 out there in savings. At the present time, the savings are up to $1 million. So the council wanted me to begin the process of getting everything that is needed in place to consider going ahead with this refunding. We could either use the money to be able to pay down debt, or we could actually be able to use it for some capital projects that you may have from the council. Also, I wanted to cover a few special dates. February the 7th, and I don't know how I ended up scheduling a message with the mayor on Super Bowl Sunday at 6 o'clock. So I'm expecting for a lot of you all to be there. I may send somebody to take my place to be able to give the report while I'm at home watching it on TV. But if you want to endure for about 10 minutes, maybe I can squeeze this in during a commercial. But we're going to do the message with the mayor February the 7th at 6 o'clock, and it will be on Facebook. We will have the State of the City. It will be my first State of the City. And it will also be talking about the first 100 days of being in office. And that is going to be at the Gilded Lily, which is in the area where we have the Irondale Cafe. The in-person seats have been sold out, but if you would like to tune in online, you can contact Ms. Julie Gardner at the Irondale Chamber, and she'll be able to give you the information that you need for that as well. Also, we are revamping the food program at the Senior Activity Center. So we're trying to find a more efficient and effective way to be able to provide food to the citizens. I know they do it once a week. So we are working on revamping that program. of February, but hopefully we'll have all of that taken care of by the month of March. Also for the municipal court, I would like to thank Ms. Melanie Costin for setting up a fine amnesty day on March the 9th, 2021. So if anybody got any fines, any outstanding warrants, you failure to appear, anything that you have with the courts that you haven't taken care of, but you should have taken care of those things, on March the 9th, 2021, we're having a amnesty day, which I think is all day, was broken up into 2 different times. There'll be a morning session, and then there'll be an afternoon session.
Yes, first session is 9 to 11. The second session is 2 to 5.
Okay, so the sessions are 9 to 11, 2 to 5. So if you got anything, that's the best day to come in to City Hall. Also, I want to give you an update on our inspections department because we've actually made some changes there. We have moved the inspections department to be under the fire department because Frank already has 20 departments there in the city. So we thought that we would relieve him by moving that department from under him, but really I'm just kidding. The reason that we did, Frank does have a lot of departments, and he was responsible for that department. But we moved it up under the fire department because the fire inspections goes in line with the building inspections. So Fire Chief Josh McDaniel and Assistant Fire Chief Brad Doss are leading this effort for us, and Kelly Womack and Greg Cochran actually report to them. So we haven't gotten rid of our inspections department. According to Facebook, we no longer have an inspections department, but we do have an inspections department. We just did some realignment and tried to make it where it's more efficient and effective for us to be able to do what we need to do there. Also, I want to honor next council meeting 2 individuals that played a very important role in the city of Irondale. Mayor Allen Ramsey died July the 25th, and Mike Coppedge was buried, I want to say, early January. Allen Ramsey was the mayor of the city of Irondale. He also served on the city council. Mike Coppedge served on the city council when I was on there in 2007. So Mike and I completed the 2 terms of other councilors, so we had a chance to be able to build a relationship. And if you read in AL.com, you know that Mike had a very storied career. I mean, he did everything from being the police chief in Birmingham to being over the state troopers. But I would like to honor them when I give my mayor comments at the next council meeting, because we have 2 extraordinary individuals that live in our city, and I hate that you have to give people honor when they're no longer here, but at least we can be able to do it for their families and allow them to see how much we think of them here at the city of Irondale. And also, my last comment before I get to my closing remarks, when the storm came through last week, I did contact the mayors at both municipalities. I talked to the mayor at Centerpoint. He shared with me that they didn't need anything. And I shared with, or talked to the mayor in Fultondale, but he was out because of the devastation that they had in their community, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I did ask them what were their needs. And they told me that they needed help with cleaning up the city. So I contacted Frank Pennington, our public works director, and Frank actually set up for one of our number boom trucks to go over there and work with the city of Fultondale to be able to clean up the city. We spent a whole day over there. So I would just like to thank Frank for taking the lead on that. And if you all didn't know that the city was involved doing something during the disaster, we did play our part by helping Fultondale to be able to clean up their city. release, I want to give you some closing remarks. And the title of my closing remarks is called, "The Mayor Doesn't Need Anybody to Talk for Him." You can tell tonight that I don't have a problem with articulating my position because I've talked a very long time about all of the things that are going on in the city of Irondale. And I really don't need individuals to go to Facebook to speak for me, because I speak very well for myself. And if you are going to speak for me, at least quote me properly or share with the people that you are paraphrasing what I said. And if you need help with learning how to put citations when you're writing something that's going on the web, or if you're going to do it in a newsletter, then I will give you the website, which is called the Purdue Writing Lab, to give you that information. So when you begin to write and talk about what Mayor Stewart said, you can at least quote Mayor Stewart properly in what he said about a particular idea. So what I would like to do briefly is just to run through what happened at the last city council meeting. We were approached by some citizens to tell us about some development that was actually going on in their neighborhood. And it was assumed when I said that Sane Associates was the city engineer on this project, and that the people should feel comfortable because Sane is on this project and they're the city engineers, that everything would be okay. And what I was saying is, because the people were in an uproar about what was going on, who's better to protect your interests than the individuals that are protecting the interests of the city? I was never asked, when Sane take jobs in the city of Irondale, that we also hire an independent engineer to be able to check what Sane is doing. If you want to know my complete thoughts, you can ask me my complete thoughts. There are at least 10 ways that you can get in contact with me. You can call the city, you can call Lee, you can email me, you can send it to my personal email, you can send it through LinkedIn, you can send it through Instagram, Facebook, my old website when I ran for mayor. And also I'm getting ready to start a blog. And it's going to be the mayor's blog because, as I stated earlier, James Douglas Stewart Jr. don't need anybody to speak for him. I've never had a problem being able to articulate my position, and I'm 56 years old. So I truly believe that I can speak for myself, and I do not need a citizen to speak for me. I don't need a counselor to speak for me, because I can speak for myself. Therefore, going forward in the future, if you want to know what's going on, why don't you just pick up the phone and call me? One individual questioned my comments and said, I want to know what Mayor Stewart is thinking. But once Mayor Stewart sent her his phone number and said, why don't you call Mayor Stewart to figure out what he's thinking? The individual went ghost. I hadn't heard anything. So I'm not running from anybody. I'm very transparent in what I do. I feel that I have the integrity to be able to do this job. I was put here by 1,464 people, which means that I'm not going anywhere. I will be here to 2024 or 2025, depending on what the state of Alabama decides to change the elections. So I would say that the elections were over August 26th of 2020. Let's try to get on the same page and move the city forward instead of trying to criticize or critique everything that somebody else is doing. So I'm going to close with something from Theodore Roosevelt. I never thought, or he probably never thought that when he wrote something in 1910, that it would still be relevant today, February the 3rd, 2021. And it's called The Man in the Arena Speech. And he says, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or whether the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasm and great devotions? Who spends himself in a worthy cause? Who at best knows in the end of the triumph of high achievement? And who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat." I'm here tonight to let you know that I'm the man in the arena. And I welcome anyone who has a problem with my position to jump in the arena as well. Because there's room for everybody to be able to do what they need to do at the city. So if you're a counselor, take care of your district. Come up with a plan for your district. Tell me what the needs are for your district. Because I ran on a plan when I ran for office, and we are executing that plan. So I just encourage you to get into the arena so you can see how it feels to be criticized and critiqued every time you make a move. President Spivey, that's the end of my report.
Go ahead. Mayor, I have one question, if you don't mind. Great speech, please go ahead and put your support.
Thank you.
Could you kind of comment on the clean up Irondale that we're going through right now?
Oh,
I know we've been through District 1, I think, but can you kind of touch on that just a little bit?
yes, I had so much
I'm sorry,
on there.
Council Wilson, we can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I asked the mayor to kind of touch on, kind of give us an update on the Clean Irondale project that's going on right now. I know we got information through our water bill, but I just want him to kind of mention it as far as how it's been going so far and when we'll get to District 5.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a funny story about this. Kim was out there in the audience, and Sunday night when I got home, as I was riding in the subdivision, I was trying to figure out why all these people put all this junk out. I mean, they had put out dish, they had put out grills and all this stuff, and I'm sitting there saying, this stuff gonna be out here for 3 weeks. So I walk in the house and I told her, I said, I'm getting ready to go downstairs and shoot out an email to our neighbors and say, hey, don't put your stuff out because it's not time for district, it's not time for our district. And she said, James, we live in District 3. It's our time to put your stuff out. So she saved me the embarrassment of shooting all the emails and looking like a fool in our community because I had forgot. I was thinking that we were in District 5, Council. I'm actually in 3. But right now we're in District 3, and we'll be in District 3 until, you can put out stuff until tomorrow. Frank is doing a fabulous job with them picking up stuff. I know they came through Belmont, which is a major thoroughfare, put stuff out on Monday. I came back through there at 5 o'clock, all that stuff was gone. So people wouldn't have even known how the city looks. But we get to District 5 on February the 16th because the 15th is a holiday. And we will be there the 16th, 17th, and the 18th. But you can still put your stuff out on the 15th. And if you put it out on the 15th, please say Public Works a call and save us a email saying, I put my stuff out today, but nobody came to pick it up. Because it's a holiday, but it runs for the whole week. So if you put it out there between the 15th through the 18th, we will try our best to pick it up by the 18th, but if we don't get it by the 18th, we'll be back the following week to be able to pick up everything. But so far it's going well. We plan on doing it again. Citizens have been very happy to be able to put out stuff that they couldn't put out in the past because of the ordinance. So I just want to give a shout out to the guys in Public Works because they're doing a wonderful job in making sure that they keep the city of Irondale clean.
Mayor Stewart,
Thank
I
you.
do have a question.
Thank you, Mayor.
Some of your
Appreciate it.
comments. For the Echo Park Automotive, did you say no reports will be sent to Carfax?
No, what I said was that when you have an accident, that information usually goes to Carfax.
Yes.
So if this car has been in an accident, that reports through the, I guess you could say whatever, got Police Chief Wiggins out there, he knows more about wrecks and police reports than I do. But I want to say if they take the report and they file it and it goes through the computer system, some kind of way it ends up at Carfax, these will be cars that are not supposed to have been in a accident.
Okay, good.
Free from a Carfax report.
Right.
All right.
And then the second question was on the Fines Amnesty Day, that's March 9th, 2021. Fines that haven't been paid, citizens will be able to go on that date to the municipal court 9 to 11 and 2 to 5, is that correct?
Yes, they've set up some kind of payment obligation, but they haven't made the payments, and they were supposed to show up in court, but they didn't show up in court. They can come in, and I guess we need to tell Melanie, this is not a setup for people to think that we're trying to trick them to come in so we can put them in jail also.
These are people who currently have outstanding warrants because of something they did not comply with. So on this particular day, they can come in on March the 9th between those times, 2 different sessions, and the judge will recall those warrants and get them back on the right track. So they can either pay it out in full or get back on the right track, and they don't have to worry about going or getting pulled over and being handcuffed and brought in on a warrant. So we will be recalling these warrants on that day if they come in to take care of their business.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to council member standing committee or committee reports. Myself, thank you, Mayor, for your words. To piggyback on a little bit of what Councilman Wilson was getting at with the amnesty, and if Frank or Mayor, if this is whoever's suitable to best answer this, I did receive some comments that the claw truck was not seen as much in the bend. Do we know that when we're doing these weeks of trash pickup that we're definitely getting everything, or are we getting as much as we can and then moving on to the next district?
I'll answer it and then I can turn it over to Frank if he wants to say something. But I talked to the individuals that were in the band, and they thought that if they put it out on a Wednesday or Thursday, that the truck was going to pick it up on Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
We'll communicate it clearly the next time to let people know. Even if you put it out, it may not be picked up in this week, but we'll make sure that we get to it by the following week. So it's a misunderstanding that people were thinking that, well, hey, if I put this out Tuesday, it's supposed to be gone Wednesday. And we did not articulate that it only means that if you put it out during that time frame, regardless of what it is, that if it's not hazardous materials, that we will go ahead and pick it up the following week.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. And then similar, also coming from the bin, and this is Marcus, who is Mr. Marcus Ferris, who's working on the neighborhood association over there in the bin. So he's been coming to me with some questions from time to time, and I want to honor that work by fielding them. He made a comment about water meter replacement. Are we doing a water meter replacement over there? And if so, what's the status of that?
Well, I would say that we have a plan to begin to replace water meters that are 10 years or older. So we are, because they are only reporting at like, what is it, Jared, 85% accuracy rate. So we are now in the process of replacing any meters that are over 10 years old because of that reason.
Thank you, Mayor. And I remember us talking about the plan to get it going. The way you made it sound is that there was something that was already happening, so I just wanted to clarify that.
No, Jared probably wish it was already happening because he put that in his capital deal. So to him, that means that it has been approved and the money is there. And he's a little young buck. He don't have a problem spending any money.
He may be referring to, we've been doing a lot of replacement of lines over there.
Okay.
That may be what he's referring to. We've just been rehabbing some areas over there just in-house with material that's been sitting on the yard for the last 10 years. We kind of started doing that. So that may be what he's referring to.
So rehabbing some existing utilities that just needed some tender loving care, basically?
That's right. There's some lines over there. There's a newer line on one side of the road, and everybody's hooked to the old line on the other side of the road. So we've just in-house and trying to just transfer over those residents to the new line and turn the old line off that leaks all the time. So that's kind of what we've been doing, trying to just work our way out of that area. So when we do leave that area is complete and ready to be paved or whatever the next step will be, we'll be out of the way.
Gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then I do want to say a huge thank you for the trash amnesty. It might not be, something that hopefully you're seeing a lot of participation in it. I know it's not like a super sexy thing or anything, but I think it is fantastic. And I've had a lot of feedback around with citizens who were not so pleased with the current ordinance and everything, and this has been a nice, I think, workaround. So I've had a lot of great feedback on it. I know I've brought a ton of stuff out that I bought with the house that I never dealt with. A lot of it was metal and a lot of it was gone in the first 24 hours. And I said, why don't Frank leave this other stuff? But then I realized it was just the scrappers who had made that first round. and then the rest of it, was removed a few days later. So it was just great. And I think this is an awesome deal. And I look forward to seeing if we can do this more times, through the year and everything, because it's been received very, very well. So thank you for the communication. And then once again, thank you for the newsletters you're sending out in the water bill. There's always fresh content on it. I know I look at it, I stick it, even though my wife hears about all this stuff anyways, I still stick it on the refrigerator to make sure that I can say, okay, not only did I tell you, but it's stuck on the refrigerator. So I appreciate that. In regards to my report, it was mainly those questions. Thank you for allowing me to field them, and just the appreciation for the amnesty that's currently going on. Councilman Wilson?
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to thank the mayor for his report. That was pretty eye-opening. Second, I want to thank Mr. Sahan, he's principal here at Shadesville High School, for allowing us to kind of use this facility. This is what we've been asking for, so we really appreciate his support for allowing us to come here and kind of spread out. So thanks to him. And the Holiday Gardens neighborhood meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday. I think it's at 6 o'clock, 6:30. Make sure you attend. Everyone is invited, not only the residents that lives in Holiday Gardens. I also want to give kudos to kind of Public Works and also the police for patrolling Holiday Gardens area. We talk about, cleaning up and those signs that was put out in District 5 as far as no dumping, even around Holiday Gardens, it seems to be doing, well. I think the citizens are getting the picture as far as they just can't dump, garbage anywhere, in the city. So, but that's been helping out a lot. And we talk about trash amnesty, but we always talk about Frank's department, but the people that really do the job, the workers, please make sure you give kudos to them. We appreciate what they do. They probably don't get enough recognition as they deserve, but we know who actually does the job. I always say, I may be in the position I'm in, but we know who really does the work, and that's true. So please let them know that we appreciate them as well for the good job that they're doing. And also, just to kind of inquire, will we be going over the water budget anytime soon, Mayor?
Goal is for me to get those, to you all, try by Tuesday next week,
Okay,
and, then we can kind of take it from there.
all right, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Claire?
Good evening, everyone. Let's see, all 10 of you that are here tonight, and for those of you that are tuning in by live stream, thank you very much for coming out and for watching through the live stream. I first of all like to piggyback on what the mayor and Councilman Wilson and Councilman Spivey said. I really want to extend a big thank you to Frank Pennington and his staff that have been working really hard. You have a great team, Frank, and I've heard nothing but positive comments from our community in District 3. Kudos to you guys, like Mr. Wilson said, all the men that work hard in public works to pick up the garbage, to pick up the trash. God bless them, they are fantastic workers. You have a great team, and I want to thank you for that. Please extend our thank you to them, because they are the ones that are making it happen, and so can't say enough about it. Also would like to thank those of you that have been commenting in regard to the newsletter that I send out. When I ran for office, I made a commitment to my constituents that there would be full transparency on city affairs, and I have worked hard to inform all our community in District 3, and I want to thank you for your comments, and want to encourage you to continue to give me your feedback, because that is the only way that your voice can be heard through me as your representative, or as the mayor said, feel free to pick up the phone and call him and ask questions, or ask any of our department heads. We are here to serve you, and we are here to give you answers. So I'd like to thank you for your feedback, and lastly, I'd like to thank Ms. Colston for what she is doing with the Fines Amnesty Day. That is an outstanding way to work with people. We're in the middle of COVID. Some of them probably didn't have the funds. I'm not sure. But that's one of the reasons that they're scared and they probably don't want to come in. And this is a way to reach out and say, hey, we're not going to put you in jail, but let's come together and let's work out a solution. So I want to commend you for what you're doing. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, ma'am. At this time, we will look for any reports of board or non-council committees. Good enough. We get to the point now where we're looking for our council deliberation on agenda items only. We have 5 items on our agenda tonight. All 5 of them are new business. So we'll just go down them one by one, and we will just deliberate accordingly. Councilman Wilson, I'll probably just start with you, and we'll just go down the line. So in regards to Resolution 2020-R08, which is a surplus specific of real property, which is no longer needed for public or municipal purposes. And there was an exhibit, and Frank, you sent out some information, and I think you even checked with us to make sure you had it. Any questions for you, Councilman Wilson? Okay. I myself don't have any questions on that. I got all the information. Perfect. Councilman Claire?
Yeah, the only question I have for Frank is how do we intend to dispose of this equipment?
We sell those on govdeals.com. It's a government auction.
Okay, thank you. And for the benefit of those that are tuning in, there were some questions on Facebook about, what's the equipment? There are 6 items. 2005, this memo from Walter Bennett, who is the shop supervisor. There are 6 items, and these are really dated pieces of equipment. The 1992, 1988, 1996, and it's too costly to repair it. And this is why this item is up on our agenda tonight.
All right, thank you. Item number 2 under new business, resolution 2021-R09 authorizes the police department to enroll in the Carfax or police program. Councilman Wilson?
I read the statement, but Chief Wiggins, can you kind of elaborate on that?
Sure.
What kind of I saw the program, but what does it do?
Well,
as far as benefiting the police department?
The Carfax program, most everybody knows what that provides to minors.
Okay.
What it will do for the police folks. Most of the money paid Carfax, what it does for purchase of vehicles. What it does for the police department is allow a database that we can search for, information on vehicles that may be involved in a crime, things like that. It's just a database that, allows us access to it. Agencies around us, actually all this, that, use it around us. Adamsville, Birmingham, Jefferson County, Trussville, Moody, Pleasant Grove. So it's a system that is used by a lot of different agencies. The other thing it does for us, it takes some of the burden off dispatchers when someone comes to window to purchase. They can purchase through Carfax. Carfax will take all the information and instead of coming to us to purchase the report, the people involved in an accident will go to Carfax to purchase the report. This is another website, and they would go there and they collect all the money and basically give us a check at the end of the month. So it's just something that takes time off dispatcher having to deal with. Someone coming to the window when they've got police or fire dispatch to take care of it. So it takes some of the burden off the dispatchers as well.
Okay. Is there a cost?
Free.
Free.
The only thing that we would need to do is give our action reports to Carfax. So they're getting 99.9% of that data anyway. So it's just to make sure that they get the data and we all share the same data.
Okay. Thank you.
And Chief, you answered my questions as well. Thank you, Robert Joe. Councilman Wilson, Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
Yeah,
for Chief?
in looking at number 2 on, this agreement here, it talks about, we can renew it, and after year 1, it automatically renews for an additional year, and I'm just, keeping in mind of some of the agreements, although this isn't monetary, because they're not charging us anything for this, right?
Correct.
Okay. And, I have one other question.
The city attorney could probably answer more about the contract itself, but we basically could exit the contract with 30-day notice.
Right.
And it's like any other contract.
Okay. Will we, be putting item number 6 here, where it talks about a crash report distribution platform? It says that we agree to include on our website and social media sites 1 or more hyperlinks to the Carfax crash report distribution platform, unless we notify them in writing that we want to opt out. What are we going to do there? Are we going to provide a hyperlink, or are we going to?
Correct. Our goal is to provide the link. They go there personally. Like, again, that would take off the burden of dispatchers and have to go to the window to serve, sell the report. So I think it'd be an easier way for people, especially right now, to just get their actual reports off the website.
Very good. Those are the only questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Item number 3 under new business, resolution 2021-R10 authorizes the mayor to hire Emma Tolbert as his appointee according to the Personnel Board of Jefferson County for the amount of $24,000. Any questions, Councilman Wilson?
No. Got all the information I need.
Outstanding. Myself as well, I understand this is your appointee, Mayor. Councilwoman Cuellar?
I do. I have a question. Not so much. I'm just wondering, Mayor, when you approached this council after you were sworn in, you said that you wanted Miss Allison as your assistant, so that's 1 full-time employee that you have. And now you're asking us to expend another $24,000 for the next 4 years, which winds up being double 48. You're looking at $96,000 during this 4-year term. And so the previous mayor only had 1 person, but you're asking us to expend funds for a full-time position and another $96,000.
Well, first of all, I'm not the previous mayor. I'm the current mayor. And I do
You have
have,
a part-time position, sir.
can I finish my comments? You asked me a question.
Right.
So at least give me the courtesy to be able to finish what I'm getting ready to say. Now, Miss Allison is my administrative assistant. She helps out with me administratively there at the city. But she's also serving in the revenue department, doing the job in the revenue department that under the previous administration, we never hired enough people to be able to fill that department with the positions that would deserve to be there. Also being the mayor of under the Enabling Act of 1935 in Jefferson County, I have the privilege of being able to appoint someone else to that position. I sent you all of the information outlining what that person would be doing. I do not think that person's job description conflicts with Ms. Allison's position. And in the last budget, we spent $24,000 for an appointee, and I'm just requesting the same thing. After all, we also had under the current administration a position for a city administrator for over $120,000 that at the present time, we don't have anybody in that position. And you slice the mayor's salary from $42,000 down to $21,000. So if I want to do a little math, let's take $141,000 that you're saving because we don't have those positions in place, and we will subtract $24,000 from that amount, which means that the city is saving $117,000.
So, just so I'm clear, Ms. Allison is working part-time as your administrative assistant, and then working the other part of the day in revenue, is that correct?
Well, as the mayor, I'm responsible for how employees are employed. I'm responsible for their schedule. I'm responsible for how they do their work. Ms. Allison is an administrative assistant, level 16, which means that I can move her anywhere in City Hall where there's a vacancy to be able to perform work.
Right, but you said that she was doing some of the work as your assistant and the other part of the work in revenue.
She's still performing her revenue duties, but she's also assisting me while I settle in as mayor.
Okay. And under the previous administration, she was full-time in revenue, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so you just said that revenue was shorthanded, but I don't think it's because she wasn't in revenue during the previous administration.
Well, revenue was shorthanded for 4 years before she became my assistant to be even shorter at the present time. So the moral of the story is this. I'm not going to sit here and argue about an appointee. I have no right to appoint somebody to that position. And if you don't like it or the rest of the council don't like it, then vote against it. But I am not getting ready to give another explanation for why I have the authority to appoint someone that's been put into the law by the personnel board. So if you don't want it, vote against it.
Right.
Mayor, in all due respect, let me just say this. I'm sorry, I have to interject because I think we're getting out of our lane. From a council perspective, and I think we've all been to that class, we are responsible for the property, city property, and finances. That's what the council is responsible for. When it comes to administrative duties, we do not have any say as far as what happened with the administrative part.
No one's arguing that point.
So basically, what I'm saying is, just like the previous mayor did what he wanted to do when it came to administrative or anything else that did with City Hall, I think we're jumping out of our lane by asking or commenting the mayor as far as who's doing what at the city. The only thing that we need to be responsible for, we need to be worried about, is how much we're paying whoever we're paying when it comes to an appointee. So I think we're stepping out of our lane, Councilman
Councilman
Quayle.
Wilson,
If I may.
with all due respect,
I'm gonna go ahead and, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next item. I agree with Councilman Wilson in regards to the fact that the staff is under the mayor's purview, and he is perfectly reasonable and totally allowable for this appointment to take place. And as soon as I saw the name, the first thing I did was look at this young lady on LinkedIn, and she has done fantastic work. So Mayor, I applaud you, on bringing this young lady to Irondale so that we have the pleasure of being able to work alongside her. All right.
Councilman Spivey and Wilson, I think I need to clearly state here, I wasn't questioning the mayor's authority. What I am doing as a council member is I'm looking at the city's finances, which is our responsibility, and asking questions about what happened on November the 3rd when we were sworn in. The mayor made a request for Miss Allison to serve as his administrative assistant, and my understanding was that it was a full-time position. Now I understand that it's not.
And, but
That's
All due
I
respect,
wanted to know.
the only thing we need to be worried about is Miss Allison, if she got a raise or anything having to do with us giving whatever employee any additional funding or whatever the case may be. That's our only concern.
We're
Did she
gonna
get a
move
raise?
on, we're gonna move on to item number 4 at this moment. Resolved that resolution 2021 R11 authorizes the mayor to contract with Hart One to provide sanitizing and decontamination service for 3 months to the city of Irondale in the aggregate amount of $19,020. Councilman Wilson?
I'm sorry, my computer went dead. How long is the contract again?
The
I'm
mic?
sorry.
It's 3 months.
3 months?
Is how the item reads, and I believe it is weekly cleaning, Mayor?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I read that. Okay. No, I don't have any questions.
Myself neither. Councilwoman Quayle?
I do have questions because it's over the $15,000 amount under Alabama statute. Did we get some additional bids?
This is I guess a little education session right here, but if you get a company that belongs to PACA, then that wipes out the $15,000 bid limit. So this company has already been vetted by PACA, who is actually the purchasing agency for Jefferson County. And if you belong to that, then you do not have to get any more bids, and it's okay to go over the $15,000.
Thank you.
If you don't believe me, you can read through the Purchasing Act in the Code of Alabama 1975, and it'll tell you the same thing.
Thank you for that response to the question.
Item number 5 under new business, item 2021 R12 authorizes the mayor to contract with Civil Consultants, Inc. to provide additional engineering services to the city of Irondale. Councilman Wilson?
Yeah, I think the mayor touched on this earlier about some of the projects that we have going on in Irondale, so I got the information I needed. Thank you.
Mayor, and the only question I would have around this is I know that we've got the saying on a retainer. If we were to utilize these services on a per hour basis, directly because of saying working on a project that this company would need to balance the other side of.
Well, first of all, Council President, SANE is not on a retainer. SANE get paid hourly based on the work that they do.
Okay.
We have a line item in the budget that's called on-call contract. So they only get paid for the time that they actually spend during that time. So if they're working for somebody else, then the money that they would have received for that job is freed up because it's in that line item, and it allows us to be able to go ahead and use it towards other engineers. Also, I would like to say that SANE is not only working on the Isaac David project, but they're also the engineers on Price Hightower project at the same time. And they've been the engineers on several of Price's projects. So just wanted to put that out there. They're not it's not the first rodeo, but they've actually been the engineers. The way that this process goes, they have the right, if somebody wants to do business with them in the city of Irondale, and hire them as their engineer. They usually come to me, they share that with me, and they ask me, is it okay for us to go ahead and take this job? Once I share with them that it's okay for them to go ahead and take the job, the city has always used another engineer to be able to review their work, because there's no way you can do the work and have somebody to review your work at the same time. So, popular belief says that we turn them loose and we don't verify them, and we just let them do what they want to do because that's the city engineers. Well, tonight, that's not true. We always have somebody to be able to verify their work.
Thank you, sir. I misspoke. I thought they were on a retainer of some sort, so thank you for clarifying the hourly there. That satisfies my question. Councilwoman Cuellar.
The only comment I'd like to make is for the benefit of everyone here and for the benefit of our council members, because I used to sit out in the audience. And one of the complaints that the council members always made was that they never received the contracts, things that they needed to make informed decisions in ample time. And our process is you get it the Wednesday before the council meets. Unless there are particular circumstances, exceptions are made. But this has been going on since November 3rd. We have not been getting items from the week before we are to meet to give us time to look through and call and ask questions. And we received all of these documents Monday. Everyone here works 8 to 5, 8 to 7, 8 to 8, and we don't have enough time to look at this information. So I am asking that we follow the Alabama statute from here on, because we need time to review these documents. If we don't have the time, we're not doing a good job. And I'm not comfortable with the way this process has been going. So I'm going to ask that we postpone this until we meet the next time as a council, so that we have time to study this.
Only thing I would like to say, first of all, it's not an Alabama statute. When you get the documents, the reason that you get the documents is based on your ordinance that you create as a council. I don't think that you all have addressed that ordinance since you've been here to determine what day you want to be able to receive the documents. Therefore, since you have not specified, unless you want to go by the ordinance that was created 2019-01, that said that they had to be there by a Thursday, since the council meeting was on a Tuesday, but now the council meeting is on a Wednesday, and you still haven't set a date on when you want the deadline to be for you to receive those documents. So I'm just saying, when you put information out there, just make sure you speak the right thing, and at least you know what you're talking about before you begin to blurt out to the people that are on Facebook and the people that are listening on Zoom.
So is it not the case, Mayor Stewart, that because we have this ordinance, it is still effective? Therefore, we need these documents Thursday.
I'm only addressing what you said.
And what I'm saying is, we need more time, otherwise there's a need to postpone until our next meeting.
Well, I will let the council decide that. It's three of you all that's sitting up here, and if you all want to do that, that's fine with me. I don't have a vote, but that's left up to Councilman Wilson and Spivey if they want to do that.
We have,
I just want to let y'all know too that Mr. London is on here as a panelist from his panelist link too.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That being said, that's what I was going to ask. Chief McDaniel, was he able to speak on any of the items that we've gone through? I didn't know that he was there, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was, he can't even, let me try to unmute him and I will. Okay, you may be able to talk now, if you can have permission to hear you there.
Chief?
I was just trying to see if you could just ask him if he's able to talk, because I've unmuted him.
Councilman London, it looks like you are unmuted. Can you speak to any of the items that we've covered in deliberation thus far?
Stand by. Huh? I heard him very little. Yeah, I could barely hear him. If somebody wants to, all right, ask him again. I just had it. Computer now.
I have no questions on any item.
Yeah. I can hear.
What's that?
I can hear.
I could hear him as well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can. Thank you, Councilman London. Your opinion on postponing item number 5? Yay or nay?
Nay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. No further questions on any new business though from you, sir?
No, sir. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you, and glad to have you present in this mixed format. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. That being said, I am fine with item number 5 moving on. Councilman London is fine with item number 5 moving on. Councilman Wilson?
Yes, I am as well.
Outstanding. Thank you. So that being said, we've deliberated the 5 items. I understand that we will go ahead and put item 5 up for a vote. That being said,
Council President, I also wanted to let you know that all of these items are budgeted items. The $24,000 is the same $24,000 that was paid to the appointee. Since we're using the 2020 budget, that figure is already in that budget, so it's accounted for. The $19,000 that we're using to be able to clean the building was in the COVID money that we received from the county, so that's $566,000. And the fees that we would pay the engineer is included in the on-call contract, which we have budgeted $110,000. So those fees would be taken out of those line items. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knows we don't have any unbudgeted items. Therefore, we do not need to go through the ordinance process to be able to adopt any of these items.
understood. I appreciate that clarification, Mayor. Thank you very much. That being said, can I get a motion for the approval of I'm sorry, I apologize. Yes, can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
I make a motion for the approval of the agenda as written.
May I have a second? I will second myself. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, John. Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman London.
Just for the sake of, so that I'm clear on things, items 1 through 5, those are not on consent.
By no means.
Thank you.
Every item is going to be for a vote tonight. Okay? All right. At this time, I would take any public comments on agenda items only. I will start from our in-person crowd. I have no hands from our in-person crowd. Chief McDaniel?
Yeah, let me try with, we had 2 that had the hand raised earlier, and I was trying to ask if they were on agenda items, but they haven't answered, so, let's see if I can get them.
You just give me a yay or nay.
Well, one of them's, Jenny Brown, and she's unmuted now, if she wants to speak up.
Jenny, we should be able to hear you if you would like to speak up.
I've unmuted her, but she's still muted on her own.
Jenny, it appears that you are still muted on your side.
Okay.
No dice?
So nothing, we can move on.
Chief, did you say you had another one?
No more hands up.
No more hands up? All right. And then, Mr. Bishop, I understand you're streaming from a different platform?
Yes, but no online questions at this
No
time.
online questions there, thank you very much. Has Jenny been able to say anything thus far?
Not this far.
Okay, fair enough. We're gonna go ahead and proceed with these 5 items. Under new business, item number 1, resolution 2021-R8. Will someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion that resolution 2021-R-8 be approved.
May we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you, Councilman London. All right, item number 2, may we have a motion for 2021-R-09 to be approved?
I make a motion that resolution 2021-R-09 be approved.
May we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Councilman, thank you. You were aye on that? Okay. Item number 3 under new business would be 2021-R10. May we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that resolution 2021-R-10 be approved.
May we have a second? I'll make a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Understood. All right, and that was item number 3. All right, item number 4. Item number 2021-R11. May we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that resolution 2021-R-11 be approved.
May we have a second? That was a second?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Finally, item number 5, 2021-R12. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that 2021-R-12, which is a resolution, be approved.
May we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman London. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No. Didn't have time to look at it.
Understood. All right, thank you very much. We find ourselves at the end of our agenda, and now in the phase of public comments to the council on non-agenda items. So once again, I will start for our in-person crowd. Fair enough. Chief McDaniel.
No one on Zoom, and not seeing anything on Facebook.
We're good to proceed? All right. And then, Mr. Bishop? We're
No
good?
questions at this time.
Outstanding. Since there are no questions for the council, I'll make a motion.
I do have a question here, because the mayor made a comment in regard to Mr. Cadner, and at the last special meeting that we had, we discussed some of the budget items, and I noted that there was a discrepancy between the budget that he proposed with the debt service on bonds, and the other being this service chart that we were provided by Mr. Cadner. Now, Mayor Stewart said that Kavanaugh. He said that he did not know where he got his figures from, and when I look at this chart, we have our warrants, all the warrants are there, and so if the error is on this gentleman has made an error, we don't have accurate data.
I would like
And
to.
so he's now talking about $1 million savings and so on. Everything that's in this book, based on this data, is an error. Therefore, we really can't decide on anything that this gentleman presents to us.
Councilwoman Cuellar, as far as this meeting goes, that is outside of context. Aside from
It's
your.
a non-agenda item, that's why I'm making the comments.
Understood. I know that if you would like to get with the mayor on exactly how these numbers mailed, by all means, please feel free to do so. I know, Mayor, you referenced possibly getting us prepared to apply for the market. Obviously, there's going to be some new numbers and some new data that will be extrapolated at that time.
The market changes.
Yes, I mean,
The market changes.
the moral of the story is, I mean, you all can choose whatever you want to choose. I mean, I wasn't saying, only thing I was saying tonight, do you all have a problem if I begin to prepare for us to be able to go through the process?
No, do we need that in the resolution?
No, I was just I mean, I need to do it anyway, because we're getting ready to go through our audit.
And
We're
so
going
the way
through our
that
audit
you put
process.
together, the
But I was just trying to make you all aware of what was going on, that the savings had increased from the last time we had the conversation. But I have to do this work regardless. So I just wanted you all to know where we were. But hey, when we get to the point of wanting to decide who would be the underwriter, I mean, the council can choose whoever they want to be the underwriter.
And I think, Mayor, you offered to provide the current exact numbers that you have to the council if they.
Yes,
like them.
I'll go back through my bond figures, and next time we have our finance meeting, or I'll go back through them. I feel pretty confident that they're in that ballpark, because I did an Excel spreadsheet for 2017, 18, and 19, and 20, and the numbers just don't change by $2 million to go to another year.
That's why I was asking the question, because
Unless
what I
they,
was seeing here wasn't.
yeah, unless there are some bonds that had a balloon that was part of them that require us to make that kind of payment. But just looking at the data that I have, and we just refunded some bonds in 2019, so that would have a different payment schedule to it, because that took the 2010s and the 2011s out. Those bonds are no longer there. We should have a 2019, 2019A, 2019B. But I have no problem with, rechecking my numbers. I think I said when I talked about the man in the arena, it never said that the man in the arena doesn't make mistakes or make errors. So I don't have a problem with going back to be able to check it. And if it's their figures, it's their figures. If it's my figures, it's my figures. I just feel pretty confident that my figures are pretty close to what it should be.
And those figures were what they drew up
Yes.
without counsel from
Yes,
us.
yes,
Those
he
are
brought
not
them.
our figures.
Right.
Right.
Those presentations, they did not have the amortization schedules that I received from the Bank of New York, who is the trustee for the bonds. We make the payments to every October, every January, every April, and every July.
Right.
They're the ones who we make the payments to. They're the ones who send me the invoice to make the payments. So I would know if I had to pay an additional $2 million. But like I said,
What
this
I'm
is not the
saying is-
venue, but I will research it, and we'll just go from there.
Great, thank you. And all I'm saying is, the figures that he has here is how he came up with these savings. And so if these figures are in error, then those savings are not accurate.
Well, the savings are based on the principal, not on the payments.
But you're starting off with incorrect principal amounts, then
Well,
those savings.
Well, you do not even know what bonds he recommended to be refunded. do you?
And in fourth, all intents and purposes of tonight, thank you both for your comments.
Yeah, I think we.
I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.